But we go and meet everybody and say, hey, great show, and then still it.
Remember this?
Amerie?
Yes.
Yeah. Sicko Mode. I feel like this is Beyonce was in her nachos for that, for B-Day.
People are once again talking about claims that Beyonce has taken ideas from other artists, and many believe the topic has become impossible to ignore. Some say people in the music business stay quiet because they fear damaging their careers. Meanwhile, reports suggest that Amerie has faced serious personal and financial struggles. According to these claims, remaining silent has not improved her situation, and some reports even suggest she is dealing with severe hardships that could leave her without stable housing.
And so I still feel like I haven't reached my peak yet. Like I feel like it's just, because it was like just starting and then kind of like, I don't want to say things went left.
Many people agree that artists are influenced by the work that came before them. In music, movies, fashion, and entertainment, inspiration is everywhere. It is almost impossible to create something completely original because creative people are constantly building on ideas they have seen or heard before. However, critics often argue that there is a difference between being inspired by someone and copying their work too closely. This debate has followed Beyoncé for years, with some fans defending her as a creative powerhouse while others point to several situations they believe raise questions about where certain ideas came from. One of the most discussed examples involves the song If I Were a Boy. The track was originally written by singer-songwriter B.C. Jean and producer Toby Gad after B.C. Jean went through a difficult breakup. According to stories that have circulated for years, the song was intended to help launch B.C. Jean's own music career. She reportedly hoped it would become a major single for her debut project. However, after the song caught the attention of Beyoncé's team, Beyoncé recorded her own version. That version eventually appeared on the album I Am Sasha Fierce and became a worldwide hit. While B.C. Jean received songwriting credit, some people felt disappointed because they believed the song could have helped establish her as an artist in her own right. Others argued that this is simply how the music business works, where songs are often recorded by artists different from the original writers. Another claim that has circulated over the years came from singer Jennifer Armour. She alleged that her song shared similarities with Beyoncé's hit song Baby Boy. According to those reports, Jennifer had previously presented material to a record label connected to Beyoncé. Later, when Baby Boy became a major success, she felt that parts of her work had been used without proper recognition. The matter generated discussion among fans and industry observers, although supporters of Beyoncé have long argued that similarities between songs do not automatically prove wrongdoing. There were also accusations involving producer Terrence T. Robinson. He claimed that ideas connected to the Destiny's Child hit Survivor came from material he had previously shared. According to reports, legal action followed, and the dispute became one of several stories that critics use when discussing Beyoncé's career. Whether these cases prove intentional copying remains a matter of debate, but they continue to be brought up whenever conversations about originality in music arise. Another frequently mentioned topic is the song Irreplaceable. During live appearances, Beyoncé sometimes spoke about the song's message and the impact it had on women around the world. However, songwriter Ne-Yo later explained publicly that he had written the song before Beyoncé recorded it. While there was never any dispute about his songwriting credit, critics felt that some comments made fans believe Beyoncé had played a larger role in writing the track than she actually had. Supporters responded that performers often discuss songs they record because they connect with the message, even when they are not the primary writers. The criticism has not been limited to music. Some people have also pointed to visual performances and choreography. One example involved Beyoncé's performance of Run the World Girls. Viewers noticed similarities between elements of that performance and work previously created by Italian entertainer Lorella Cuccarini. The resemblance sparked online discussions, with some arguing that the choreography looked extremely similar. After the attention grew, Beyoncé acknowledged that she had admired Cuccarini's performance. Even then, opinions remained divided. Some saw it as appreciation and inspiration, while others felt the similarities went too far. These conversations became even louder when people started comparing Beyoncé's rise to the experiences of singer Amerie. Amerie made a strong impression when she released her debut album, All I Have, in 2002. At the time, expectations for the project were not especially high, but the album performed well and introduced audiences to her unique style. One of the standout songs was Why Don't We Fall in Love, produced by Rich Harrison. The song helped establish Amerie as a fresh voice in R&B and gave listeners something that felt different from many of the records dominating radio at the time. Fans also remember the music video. It was relatively simple compared to many big-budget productions. Amerie wore casual clothing, walked confidently through the streets, and relied on charisma rather than elaborate sets or special effects. Despite its simplicity, the video connected with audiences and became memorable. When Beyoncé later released the video for Crazy in Love, some viewers noticed similarities. Critics pointed to the clothing choices, the focus on walking sequences, and certain visual elements. Because both artists were associated with the same record company, some people wondered whether ideas had crossed paths behind the scenes. Others argued that fashion trends and music video concepts often overlap, especially during the same era. The discussion became even more intense when Beyoncé began working with producer Rich Harrison. Harrison had already helped shape Amerie's musical identity. Together, they developed a distinctive sound that blended modern R&B with energetic go-go influences. Amerie often spoke positively about their creative partnership and described Harrison as someone who understood her artistic vision. Their collaboration helped create a style that many fans immediately associated with her. As Harrison worked with other artists, including Beyoncé, some listeners felt they could hear similarities between the records. Critics argued that Beyoncé benefited from a sound that Amerie had helped bring into the spotlight. Supporters countered that producers frequently work with multiple artists and naturally carry aspects of their signature style from one project to another. Amerie continued building on that sound with her second album. The standout single, One Thing, became one of the defining songs of her career. The track was energetic, catchy, and instantly recognizable. According to stories from the time, Amerie fought hard to keep the song for herself after concerns that it might be given to another artist. Her determination paid off because One Thing became a major hit and further strengthened her identity in the music industry. Even today, discussions about Beyoncé and Amerie continue online. Some people believe Amerie never received enough credit for helping popularize a certain sound and style during the early 2000s. Others believe Beyoncé's success came from her talent, work ethic, and ability to transform influences into something larger than life. Regardless of which side people take, the debate remains one of the most talked about topics in modern R&B history, showing how complicated conversations about inspiration, influence, and originality can be in the music business.
One Thing came out in 2004 because I leaked it over Christmas because everyone will be on break, so they can't stop anything. Exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna be out here, I'm gonna drop a match. For me, I was like, look, I think I might get dropped. So I just want people to hear the music. I don't really care about getting paid for it. I just want people to hear it because I believe in it. And they're on Christmas break, so we can just do it. And at the time, they were trying to like give the record to somebody else. They were trying to do that, but they couldn't because I wrote on the record too, so you can't just take it. And that was frustrating for them, I guess.
But why?
Over the years, many fans have compared Amerie and Beyoncé, especially when discussing some of the biggest R&B hits of the 2000s. One rumor that Amerie has addressed more than once is the idea that she was originally supposed to record the song Crazy in Love. According to Amerie, that was never the case. Because the song had a sound that many people associated with her style, fans often wondered why she was not the artist behind it. However, she explained that producer Rich Harrison never played the track for her. She suggested that while it may have been written with her sound in mind, she was never given the opportunity to record it. Instead, the song ended up with Beyoncé and became one of the biggest hits of her career. The conversation becomes even more interesting when people bring up Beyoncé's song Green Light. Unlike Crazy in Love, this track was not produced by Rich Harrison. It was created by the Neptunes, which led some listeners to question why it still sounded so similar to Amerie's music. Fans quickly noticed several similarities between Green Light and Amerie's hit song One Thing. Both records featured energetic drum patterns, strong horn-driven production, and a fast-paced rhythm that gave them a similar feel. Music fans also pointed out that the songs shared a nearly identical tempo, making the comparison even harder to ignore. Because of these similarities, Some people began to believe that Beyoncé's team had closely studied the sound that Amerie and Rich Harrison had developed together. By that point, Amerie had already released successful projects that helped establish a unique musical identity. Critics argued that elements of that style later appeared in songs performed by bigger artists. Whether that was intentional or simply a result of popular trends in R&B remains a matter of opinion, but the discussion has continued for years. At the same time, the careers of the two artists moved in very different directions. Following the success of her debut album Dangerously in Love and her earlier achievements with Destiny's Child, Beyoncé became one of the most successful entertainers in the world. Her influence grew far beyond music, expanding into business, fashion, film, and global touring. Amerie's path was very different. Although she delivered memorable songs that helped define an era of R&B, her commercial success never reached the same level. Reports from court documents later revealed that her income was far lower than many fans expected from an artist with such recognizable hits. For many people, that information was surprising because songs like Why Don't We Fall in Love and One Thing remain beloved by R&B fans even today. As a result, many supporters continue to wonder how things might have turned out if Amerie had received the same level of promotion, financial backing, and industry support as some of her peers. They see her as a talented artist whose impact on R&B deserves more recognition. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's career continued to grow into a global brand. The contrast between their journeys has led fans to ask a simple question: what could Amerie have achieved if she had been given the same opportunities and resources from the beginning?
People would be like, wait, that's not your record? Why did he give that record to you? And I'm like, he never played that record for me. But after our first album, see the thing, what happened during that time?
Tell us.
Like after...
Tell us what happened. This is going to be all over the internet.
After the...
This is going to be a whole line, girl.
It's really simple. It's like we did the first album, right? And after the first album came out, it made a lot of noise and people really loved that album. Mm-hmm. And Jay loved the album too.
At the time, both artists were signed to the urban division of Columbia Records and were competing for many of the same opportunities. However, Beyoncé reportedly received a larger promotional budget, along with a powerful team that had strong industry relationships and years of experience. Many fans believe that gave her a major advantage. Meanwhile, Amerie struggled to keep up and eventually left the label after problems surrounding one of her album releases. The experience reportedly left her deeply disappointed, and for years she found it difficult to listen to other artists because it reminded her of how quickly her own career changed direction.
That was kind of like a defense mechanism, actually. So I went through like 10 years where I didn't listen to anything.
Why?
But generally, see, I thought that it was because now I'm writing. My novel's coming out June 10th, by the way. I thought it was because, you're in writing mode and you're not in that right now. But then I realized later, I was like, you weren't listening to music because you were trying to avoid it. You felt like it was going to make you angsty because it's going to make you want to make music, which is going to make you kind of like, oh, but this is the time, and how last time this, and maybe that won't work, and how do I do this, and how do I do that? So all you're gonna do is be frustrated. And so that just made me be like, I'm not listening to any music.
Because of how everything unfolded, some fans believe Amerie was one of several artists whose careers were overshadowed as Beyoncé's success continued to grow. Many listeners have pointed out similarities between Greenlight and Amerie's music style, even before online debates became popular. Others argue that Beyoncé simply drew inspiration from trends and sounds that were already gaining attention. Supporters of Amerie often feel she helped shape a sound that later became more widely recognized, while others disagree. The discussion remains a topic that music fans continue to debate years later.